Hello dear students. In today's session we will discuss chapter 10 of your science textbook, that is motion and measurement of distances. In first part we will discuss about story of transport, measurement, how to measure the length of an object and to measure the length of a curved line. And in second part I will explain motion, types of motion and different motion at the same time. So in today's session I will explain you the first part of this chapter. So first of all, let's take a view on the topics we will discuss here. So in today's session we will do introduction of the chapter, story of the transport, need to measure length, what is measurement, measurement of length and activity that based on the measurement. Okay, so starting with introduction. As you know, traveling is the act of moving from one place to another, and availability of goods from one place to another is also made possible through transportation. Actually, before 19th century, transportation was extremely slow and difficult. People travel mainly on foot. They transported goods on their back or heads or using camel carts. But nowadays one can travel to any distance by train, bus, airplanes and ships, and man can even land it on the moon. Beyond this, one other problem people face in early times that there were no unit of measure distance or instrument to measure time. So most common means to overcome this problem were to take a note on major landmarks like forests, rivers, mountains, or the position of sun. So what is the story of transport? See, diagram. The first diagram shows the transport in ancient period and second diagram shows the modern means of transport. Walking is the most elementary means of transportation that carry load on one's back, or using animals to carry load is also elementary. Animal drawn carts, wagons are a major means of transportation in rural areas. Wagons are large four-wheeled carts that can carry heavy loads. So they need to pull by exceptionally strong animals like horses. So this type of transport persisted up to the beginning of 19th century. Then the invention of steam engine developed the railroad transport. Then land transportation is the most common kind of transportation, and in many cases it is the only suitable or available transportation. After that, water transportation, it depends mainly on boats, ships and rafts. People use boats chiefly on rivers or lakes, and ship is a larger vessel study enough for ocean travel. And raft, it is a floating platform constructed using logs or barrels. Then airplanes, it developed in early 20th century and is now a source of fast traveling. After that, electric trains, monorail, spacecraft and supersonic aeroplanes are some of the contribution of this century. Okay, so this is the story of transport, that how we develop. Next is measurement. Measurement is a comparison of two unknown quantities with some known quantity of the same kind. The known fixed quantity is the unit of measurement. This I will explain you with the help of example. See, here what is the need to measure length? Look at the two lines given here. The line A looks longer than line B, and if you measure both these lines with a scale, you will find that both of them are equal. So it is difficult to answer correctly without actual measurement. For example, when we go to a clothes shop to buy clothes for making our school uniform, then the shopkeeper measured the cloth by comparing it with standard unit of measuring length, that is called meter. And then what the tailor do? When we go to tailor for stitching the school uniform, it takes our measurement by using a measuring tape. And the tailor has to make the measurements correctly for the proper stitching of clothes. And if any measurements are made wrong by the tailor, then the stitched clothes may not fit us properly. So this is just one example for the importance of making proper measurement in our daily life. So the measurement of any object consists of two parts, that is unit of measurement and number of units of object measured. For example, if the length of a table is 4 meters, then 4 is the number and meter is the unit of length. Clear? Okay. Now next is, before the invention of these standard units, some earlier units of measurements of length were used. See in diagram, it shows about hand span, cubit, foot or a pace. Pace means footsteps. So first talking about hand span. Open your hand and stretch your fingers. The length between the tip of your thumb and the little finger is called hand span. Measure the length of your study table using your hand span. Suppose it is of 10 hand spans. Now request your parent to measure your study table with his hand span. Will it be the 10 hand span again? Of course not. It must be less than 10. Why? Because your parent hand is bigger than yours. So the length of your study table is 10 hand span according to your hand span and less than 10 according to your parent. So that is surely not an accurate measurement. The next measurement is cubit. The length between the tip of the middle finger and the elbow is called cubit. It obviously differs from person to person, hence it lacks preciseness. Next is footstep. Foot of footstep. Footsteps also known as pace. Footsteps were conventionally used to measure length of rooms and they too differ from person to person. So all these earlier units of measurements are not accurate. See here in diagram. This shows about the cubit of an ancient unit of measuring length which is equal to the length of forearm, that is elbow to the fingertips, and it different length for different people as shown there in figure. See, the cubit of first person is larger than the cubit of second person. Okay, so it is necessary for scientists to discover a standard unit for measurement. Now about standard unit. All the units mentioned here, that is hand span, footsteps or cubit, that are not reliable because the length of body parts are different for different people. So for sake of uniformity, scientists all over the world have discovered some standard units for measuring, and they accept the meter as the standard unit of length and the symbol for meter is M. And whether the meter is used by one person or another person, whether the meter is used in one country or another country, it always represents exactly the same length. The length of meter does not change from person to person or place to place. In fact, wherever we go in the world, the meter has the fixed length. Okay, so meter is the standard unit for measuring length and it is abbreviated as M. Similarly, for SI unit for mass is kilogram and abbreviated as kg. SI unit for time is second and abbreviated as S, and SI unit for temperature is Kelvin and abbreviated as K. Clear? So these are the SI unit for different measurement for length, mass, time and temperature. Now next is multiple and sub-multiple of metric units. First, multiple units. Those units which are used to measure large quantities are called multiple units. For example, to measure the distance between two cities, the unit meter will not be convenient to express this distance. So here we use kilometer, which is a multiple of meter. So 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meter. Okay. Now second is sub-multiple units. Those units which are used to measure small quantities are called sub-multiple units. For example, to measure the length of nail or thickness of notebook, we use centimeter or millimeter, which is the sub-multiple of meter. That is 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter and 1 meter is equal to 1000 millimeter. Then the thickness of a coin or a postcard is much smaller than centimeter. So to express such a small length, we use another unit known as millimeter. That 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeter. Clear? These all you have to learn the units and their values. See one problem. Here question. It is given the height of a person is 1.65 meter. Express it in centimeter and millimeter. Basically the height of a person is given in meter. You have to convert in centimeter and millimeter. So in first case, we have to convert the height of 1.65 meters into centimeter. So as we know that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter. So 1.65 meter is equal to, obviously we multiply by 100. That is 100 into 1.65 centimeter. And the answer is 165 centimeters. Okay. Then the height of 1.65 meters is equal to 165 centimeters. Okay. Now in second case, we have to convert the height of 1.65 meters into millimeter. So we know that 1 meter is equal to 1000 millimeter. So here we multiply by 1000. That is 1.65 meter is equal to 1000 into 1.65 millimeter. And the answer is 1650 millimeters. Okay, clear? How to solve it? Now next is devices for measuring length. In our day-to-day work, we use various devices for measuring length. For example, we use scale for measuring length, tailor uses measuring tape, and a cloth merchant uses a meter rod. And in school library, we use wooden meter scale. So these are the different devices for measuring length. Next is for measurement of length. See, the length is a distance between 2 points, and meter is used as a standard unit for measuring length. Meter is written in short form as m, small m, because it is the first letter of the word meter. We measure the length of an object by using a meter scale. See the diagram of meter scale. It is marked in 100 centimeter, and every centimeter is further divided into 10 divisions that call millimeters. Clear? So that is 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters and 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters. So a meter scale is marked in centimeters and millimeters. And about kilometers, when to measure the distance between two cities or larger distance, we use kilometers. Clear? Now next is precautions while measuring length. We have to take certain precautions while measuring length by using meter, scale or ruler, and these precautions are necessary to get the correct reading of the length, and if these precautions are not taken, an error will come in the measurement of length. So the first is the scale should be placed parallel to the side of the object being measured. Say in diagram, the scale is placed parallel to the side of the card which is to be measured. So this, it will give the correct placement of the scale and will give the correct reading for the length of the object. Okay. So first precaution that you take, place the scale properly parallel to the object. Second, the object must be measured from 0 mark of the scale. See here, while measuring we started from 0, and the eyes to be positioned in front and in line where the measurement is to be taken. Means, see, if you watch it from left side or your right side, it is the wrong position of the eye. While reading the scale, the eye must be placed vertically above the scale mark being read. See, center, vertically of the object or scale. It is the correct position of eye for measuring length. Okay. Next precaution is, the end of the scale must not be worn out, or if the end of the scale are broken or the 0 mark cannot be read clearly, then use the mark 1 centimeter or other from where it is started. Then subtract the mark you use from the reading at the other ends that you have taken. For example, in this diagram, that 0 is not clear. So actual length here is 9 centimeter. So we deduct the 1 centimeter from the final reading. So 9 minus 1, that is 8 centimeter. So the actual reading of that object is 8 centimeter. Clear? Next is measuring the length of a straight line. Okay, in order to measure the length of a straight line, keep the scale in such a way that the graduated edge, that is mark edge, should be placed close to the line and the 0 mark of the scale coincide with one end of the line. Okay, you will place the scale properly and it start from 0 while the measurement is to be taken. Now record the reading. The reading is correct only when the eye is in the position B. B means on the vertical position, that A and C shows the wrong position of eyes. Okay, so this is the method to measure the length of straight line. Now next is how to measure the length of curved line. We can measure the length of curved line with the help of a thread or a divider. First we will discuss by using thread. So a wavy line is known as the curved line, and we cannot measure the length of curved line by using only a scale directly. So the length of a curved line can be measured by using thread and a scale. See, first take a piece of thread and put a knot near its one end. See in diagram, at one end make a knot. This knot will act as the starting point for the measurement. Okay. Now place the knot of the thread at the point A. Point A means from where the curved line is started. And keep, with the help of thumb finger or forefinger, hold it. Now hold the thread a little distance away from the knot and keep it along the curved line with the help of right thumb or forefinger as given in the figure. Now in this way, run the thread all along the curved line in little steps at a time and keeping the thread taut till the other end B. Means while covering the several steps by measuring a small distance, reach till the last end of this curved line, that is B. Now straighten the thread and measure the length between the knot and the ink. Ink where you will finish this curved line B, mark it with the ink and measure it from the knot and the last where you had marked by ink. This will give us the length of the curved line. Okay. So what you will do? First make a knot on a thread, keep it on the starting point, that is A, hold it and keep running this thread up to the last, that is B, and mark with color or ink. Now straight the thread and measure with the help of scale. It will give you the length of the curved line. Clear? Now second is measuring curved line with the help of divider. See how we can measure the curved line with the help of divider. Open the legs of divider to cover some convenient distance. It's according to your choice that you can easily cover that distance. Say 4 millimeter. Now place one leg of the divider at one end of curved line AB. See in first diagram it had taken the distance of 4 millimeter. Then in second diagram it shows that it is covering the distance of 4 millimeter. Now put the other leg of the line. Without disturbing the distance between the legs, take the divider along the line. Now at the end, some portion of line be left off because you are taking the 4 millimeter according to your choice. So maybe at last some distance left out that may be less than 4 millimeter. So how to count it? See the formula given here, the length of AB. How we will do it? The distance between two legs. What is the distance that we have taken here? 4 millimeter. Then multiply the number of complete steps. Suppose you had completed after 10 steps. So multiply by 10, then plus leftover length. At last the distance left over, that is less than 4 millimeter, whatever it is given. So you will find the correct length of AB. Clear? Now at last I have given you one activity to measure the object at distance in the SI unit. Unit I had given here. In this specific unit you have to find the length. See, use ruler for measuring these things. First, the length of your science textbook in millimeters. Length you have to measure. If you measure it with your measuring scale, it is given in centimeter. So you have to convert it into millimeter. Okay. Now second is your height in centimeters. This you will do with measuring tape. Clear? So that's all about measurement. In next part of this chapter we will discuss motion, types of motion. Till then, keep learning, stay healthy. Thank you.